Ink. One alien, one moon. Hello.
Attention, general employees, valued team members, and all members of our Starship family. Due to a recent legislative decision by several squabbling government bodies, cannibalism has now become legal. Your employer would like to remind you that the consumption of any employee, valued team member, and/or member of our Starship family is strictly prohibited and will be punished by the reception of up to 3 official demerits. Remember, just because you can ableism doesn't mean you should ableism. Happiness is productivity.
Bethany!
Holy caretaker of the starship in my third rectum! Jonas, why are you so close?
Did I interrupt? I was going for polite and understated.
Jonas, I will requisition a bell to keep track of you and staple it to your face. I swear I will.
My bad. You just looked so into what you were doing. I had a feeling like I shouldn't interrupt.
And yet...
The feeling passed when I saw you had the EBI folder open, reliving past glory.
Look, it's a long afternoon. We got things done. I flipped through a couple old entries, added a little thing. No big deal.
Really? You added something?
Nothing big or anything. Just something that stuck in my head as I was collating appraisal data from the last couple of weeks. Figured I'd just write it down quick. Why not? And then I started flipping. And then you appeared like a nightmare incarnate, and I saw 6 visions of my death I wasn't crazy about. And 2 or 3 I could live with.
I said I was sorry, you fragile creature, you. Get your pedipalps in order. How much black goo have you had today?
All of it.
That sounds bad, and that's me saying that, so, take that however you will, I guess.
I cut it a little with hallway grease. Hop off my back, will ya? Look, I'm really backing off the meds, and I just need a little something for my mouth to do,
Hey, whatever excuse you want. I'm no judge. So what'd you add?
Here, you can just have the whole thing. I'm pretty much finished.
No, come on, tell me.
I just wrote it all down. What's the point of writing it all down if you won't even read it?
Fine, give it here. What is this?
What are you doing? If that mug was still full, this whole place would be on fire.
Look at it and tell me you don't see anything wrong.
It's a story in the EBI, you maniac. What do you want?
Yeah, that's all it is. A story. A bare bones, bland, completely factual retelling of the events as they transpired. Placed at the very end.
Yeah, and?
It doesn't even have a title!
It has a title!
Left parentheses, insert galactic standard coordinates after you look them up, right parentheses, isn't a title. It's a selfish to-do list, and a pretty sad one at that.
What is the deal here?
Do you know how long I spent updating and reorganizing the folder? Wait, let me answer that for you, actually. No, you don't. Because sometimes I would work on it when I was supposed to be doing actual work. And I would sneak it out of here to work on it in my quarters. So yeah, however long you think, why don't you just go ahead and multiply that by about 2 or 3, okay?
I am so lost right now. Are you reprimanding me?
I I am incensed, Bethany. I am vexed. I am frustrated at work right now. That's what you're looking at.
Did you look up those words just to reprimand me?
That's neither here nor there.
Uh-huh. And this is my fault?
Well, it's sure not mine, I can tell you that.
This is a new one, Jonas. After all this time. This is a new one.
I ask for so little.
That's not true.
Compared to what I actually desire, I ask for so little. And yet, here we are.
Yep.
And how do you feel?
Confused, mostly. And like I should get back to some paperwork. I'm not totally sure for what, but I'm sure something needs to be filed or stored or collated or shredded or something.
I worked so hard on that, Bethany.
We all make mistakes, Jonas.
Well, if that's how you feel about it, then fine.
Fine.
You know, I've done things for you.
I'm sure you have.
I've made sacrifices. I've changed.
And we're all very grateful for what you've done.
And you can't even try. You can't even put in a title. That really says it all. Wait, no, it doesn't, because all would include a title.
If you don't want the story in, get rid of it. Even the best story isn't worth whatever is going on here.
Oh, we're well beyond the story, Bethany. Well beyond it.
Well, that was ominous.
Attention, all crew localized to the starboard hull, specifically near the demaritization board halls. A recent shipment of anticoagulants has been delivered to you labeled as partial coagulants. Please commence a thorough and communal coagulation check. Thank you for your cooperation. Happiness is productivity, despite the current coagulation level of your immediate surroundings.
Bethany, how goes it?
You are very late.
Am I? Ah, well, you know how things and all that and the other stuff.
Uh-huh. Are you wearing a hat?
I'm wearing 3 hats.
Against regulation, and you know it. Take them off and put them by the ferns.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were such sticklers for details down here. That's my bad.
Okay, I get it. Thank you, Jonas. I've been scolded heavily now.
Well, we all make mistakes, Bethany.
It's just removing some hats, Jonas.
Look, Bethany, if you don't like the hats, get rid of them. Even the best hat isn't worth whatever is going on here.
We're really doing this?
I don't know what you mean. Besides, I feel like I should probably get back to some paperwork. I'm not totally sure for what, but I'm sure something needs to be filed, or stored, or collated, or shredded, or something.
Did you memorize our whole conversation? You know what? Fine. The silent treatment is the most professional thing that's happened so far today. I'll take it. Jonas. Jonas, come on. Jonas, you can ignore me, or you can keep the hats on, but you can't do both. Jonas. Jonas, so help me, I will pull rank, do you hear me? I will requisition a demerit, I mean it. Okay, fine, but don't give me all that attitude when it happens, because you knew it was coming. You absolutely did. You heard me say very clearly, right here and right now, Jonas, this is your last chance. Jonas, you will look at me when I am talking to you. I am a superior. I am a...
Hey now. Okay. Yeah, let's just... Why don't you sit down, huh? I know you're not looking at me, but I took off the hats.
Thank you, Jonas.
Are you okay?
I don't know, Jonas.
Okay. I'm here if you need me.
Jonas, would you do me a favor?
Yeah, sure.
Can we pretend something?
Yeah, I guess so.
Can we pretend that everything is fine and that I just found that story? Can we pretend that this didn't just happen?
Are you sure?
Can we, please?
Yeah.
Where's the EBI?
Here, hold on.
All right, give me a second.
You're okay, right?
So about a week and a half ago, we were speeding through the Beta Minor system, right? The one with the double star?
Yeah, sure. Where the gravity got all weird for a bit?
Yep, that's the one. It was like working on the side of a slope all shift, remember?
Remember? I'm still sore. That was ridiculous.
Oh, you just wait. So we pick up the second planet out. Remember? A good source of water, crazy heavy metal deposits near the poles, a good incorporation target. So we get lined up, go through the process, everything goes according to plan, scanners are going over every inch of space it occupied to make sure we're not leaving material. You know the drill. We left the moon, though. They didn't want to filter that amount of uranium out of all the water in the core. You know how it goes. Tech stuff, red tape.
Seems like a normal incorporation to me.
Absolutely. 100% normal. But our scanner doesn't shut off until we do our next jump, right?
This is the first time I've ever heard we had a scanner.
Really?
I'm working on a theory where everything I'm not specifically thinking about ceases to exist.
You know that if you're working in unshielded areas when the scanner is on, well, it can cause some abnormalities.
But I won't think about that.
You know, it's probably not even important to get into right now. Just keep track of your shedding schedule. If it speeds up by more than a year or two, I'd get it checked out.
Just in the med bay?
That's an option, but you'll get some sort of punishment for not following protocol and causing the company to have to use medical resources on you. You could also just try a remedy from another crew member.
Does that work?
Nope, but it sure is cheaper.
Wow, who knew?
Of course, I've also seen it result in immediate pain and a long, drawn-out death. But it's like anything. You take your chances. Anyways, a second planet out. Just incorporated. This planet had sentience. Pretty advanced, too. Not too much longer in the grand scheme and all that, and they would have been too far gone for us to take.
Okay, doesn't seem that weird.
They had a moon.
Still not weird.
They had recently sent a few probes into space.
Still mostly normal.
Just beginning a space program with the goal of putting one of their own on their moon.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
We didn't.
We most certainly did.
That's terrible!
Can you imagine it? 1 minute, this little being is the greatest thing to ever happen to its planet. It's pushed science further than it's ever gone before. And then suddenly, zoop. No more planet. I mean, you gotta hope the little thing was looking when it happened, right?
Do you?
Or is it better if the thing is asleep and it just wakes up the next day, looks out the window and goes, now where the heck did that go?
Ugh, that'd mess with your mind for sure.
Right? Think of the conspiracies that would run through your head. Did they send me all the way to the moon just to leave? What the heck did I do?
Did the creature have to respirate?
I think so, yeah.
What was it breathing?
It was a liquid, I think, replenished to the correct chemical balance by a tank on the back.
Bipedal?
Maybe? I didn't check.
Not so different from how we started.
You have such a soft spot for early biological sentience.
Come on, it's kind of sweet.
Nah.
It's special! A little thing we have in common. Creatures stepping out to the moon, exploring space. Come on, engage your compassion gland.
It's not special. It's what every space civilization does. That's what you do. If you've got a moon, you go to it. It's the closest thing. Why would you shoot for a different planet when you've got a moon right there?
Style points?
Alright, fair. I can give you that. But that's gotta be rare.
Yeah, true.
Our species' path to the stars was dirt common, Jonas. I've thought about it a lot before, and probably the best thing our species ever had going for it was the fact that we never ran into something like us. Not before we were too big to just blink out of existence.
What do you think you'd do if you were that creature on the moon?
And my planet had just disappeared with a big zoop.
Yeah, what's the first thing you'd do?
Empty the waste removal system on my suit. It's gotta be full.
Bethany, come on.
You asked! What, you're telling me your sphincter would be unfazed by your planet disappearing?
I'm not saying that.
That's right, you're not. You'd expel so fast you'd blow a hole clear through to the outside. And you wouldn't have time to do anything.
But I'd die relieved.
Better than the alternative, I suppose.
But seriously, though.
I don't know. What can you do? Either hang out until your life support fails, or deliberately sabotage it and take yourself on out. Pick one. If you don't like it, try the other.
I think I'd try to make something.
Like what? Like keep doing whatever experiment or measurements you were doing before?
No, like make a picture or something. In the dust or the dirt or whatever was on the moon. A nice little pattern. Or maybe just write my name. Write a note. Something. You wouldn't?
I doubt it. Not much point.
Well, there doesn't need to be much point, does there? Not when your planet has already been zooped out of existence. Just do it to do it.
But, I don't know. It's just so meaningless.
Yeah, but you still have to do stuff even when it's meaningless.
Well, if that's not a clear indication of personal growth, I don't know what is.
That's life, right? I mean, at the end of all of it, we're not going to make a difference in the universe, good or bad. That's the whole functional infinity thing. Other stuff is so big, it makes us not matter. Which sucks, but also doesn't, because it gives us a weird freedom to do and care about whatever we want.
Jonas, have you been adding things to your black goo again?
What? I have one deep thought, and now all of a sudden I'm being poisoned by black goo additives, or I'm finding it hard to stay focused on daily tasks due to the new whispers in the back of my head. Come on, get real.
How long do you think that alien lasted?
I don't know. How advanced was the species? What quality was their tech?
Not the best. Not a lot of different biomes on their planet, so they didn't have much atmospheric containment knowledge to draw on.
Not long then.
Yeah, probably not long.
Hours. Maybe a couple days, but that's a stretch.
Probably better. You don't want to starve or dehydrate. Better to just get it done quick.
You think I made a picture or wrote down something or anything like that?
It's possible, I guess.
I'll bet you it did. You don't get to be the first of your species to go into outer space and land on something that isn't your planet if you've got the kind of mind that's just gonna give up and lay down when their planet is unexpectedly incorporated. It must have done something.
Yeah, explorer types are pretty mentally resilient. I think 67% more than the average being of the same species. I read that on an advertisement for some alcoholic stimulant or something, I think. Huh. Good talk, Jonas.
amo from Hospitality Waste Management Training. Repeat. Ti amo from Hospitality Waste Management Training. The financial institution has just sold your children at a loss and have used our announcement system to declare their intention of reclaiming the debt from you. Please go directly to the lower accounting offices at the end of your shift to discuss payroll deduction. And remember, productivity is happiness, not family. And of course, happiness is productivity.
Hey, Bethany.
Hey, Jonas.
Guess who bribed one of the targeting scanners into getting me more info on your moon-stranded alien?
I'm gonna guess you.
And you would guess right.
The targeting scanners make so much more than we do. How much did you spend to bribe them?
You know, I just feel like I've already done this work and it was a success. So does the method really...
Jonas.
So I might have let them record me placing a couple of my tentacles into a little plastic sack with a bunch of this oily runoff stuff that collects around the bottom of the pipes. And they just wanted me to, wiggle them around a bit for the sounds.
Okay, I want to come at this without a lot of judgment.
I appreciate that, thank you.
That being said, I've got a question.
I thought you might.
So when this video inevitably gets passed around...
Oh, no, video. They promised it was only sound.
And I think it's very sweet of you to believe them. But when this does get passed around, because it will, do you have a plan?
Not think about it.
Okay. None of my business. Just putting it out there. Did you find out anything interesting? Hope it was worth the price.
It's definitely interesting. Not exactly what we were talking about, but yeah, I'd say it's interesting.
Then toss that data down and let's check it out.
Oh, I didn't get to keep the file of it. Just look at it. The targeting scanner, they said that they could get into a lot of trouble and it'd be a really embarrassing situation for them if anybody figured out they did that for me. So I've got the story. I know what happened. I took some notes. I just don't have the data.
And you didn't want to point out that it might be a troublesome and embarrassing situation for you if the video...
The audio! And it doesn't exist because I'm unthinking it out of existence!
Yeah, fine. If the audio ended up being heard by anyone else?
No. Is that relevant?
I suppose not. Forget it. I've been in suspense long enough. What happened to the alien on the moon?
Not a ton.
What? No huge artistic accomplishments as the life support faded? No beautiful poetry? The end of life as experienced by somebody with such unimaginable context to the destructive and cold power of the universe at large, all distilled through the lens of one insignificant creature needing to express itself?
No, not really.
Oh. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I was hoping there'd be something at least.
I mean, there was definitely something.
Well...
It's not... no. How can I put this? It's a little... What's the opposite of inspirational?
Oh. It just got really sad or something?
Emotions weren't exactly clear, but all it did was sit down and write out a note on a little flat pad type thing it had. Then it snipped off its life support, heaved it as far as it could, and took off sprinting in the other direction. Died trying to find it again. Weird way to do it, but hey, each to their own.
What was in the note?
It just said, serves you right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. Oh. More of that data from the planet has been compiled and run through a couple different correlation cycles, and yeah, it looks like they chose the subjects for their spaceflight program based on how annoying the population found them. So if something went wrong, the loss of life would be acceptable. This was apparently the first rocket that had ever made it out of the atmosphere. There was actually a conspiracy theory on the planet where people believed that the entire purpose of having a space agency was so they could strap irritating people into rockets and blow them up.
I have never heard of something like that before. That's insane.
I'm inclined to believe it myself. The ship that brought the alien to the moon didn't even have any way to communicate with the planet once it was that far away. And it was incredibly lucky to have landed as well on the surface as it did. Bunch of things must have just lined up in the right way.
And you're telling me they actually told the pilots that the reason they were chosen was because they annoyed people?
Oh, yeah. Apparently, it was super public. It was the only democratic process on the whole planet, actually. Mandatory participation.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
The Irritating Star Child.
What?
For a title. The Irritating Star Child.
You want to give it a title, huh?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of work went into that story. If it's worth putting in the EBI, maybe it deserves a title too.
All right, I'll get a pen. Hey, can I ask you a random question that doesn't have to do with anything in particular?
Sure.
You doing okay?
Living the dream, Jonas. Just like every day.
Episode 15, One Alien, One Moon Alone, was written, produced, and edited by Monte D, Monteleagre and Alexander Wolfe. Allyson Levine voices the character of Bethany. Raimy O. Washington voices the character of Jonas. Ellis MacMillan is the Robo-Archivist. As always, I'm Leah Cardenas, and I read the ship announcements, as well as the credits. Everybody at Inc., the podcast, would like to say thank you for your continued support and encourage you to compete with your friends to see who can post the most accurate guess for how this season will end in the review section of your particular podcast platform. If somebody absolutely nails it, we'll try to do something special for them in the future, maybe even a cameo in an upcoming episode. Find us online at inkthepodcast.buzzsprout.com for links to all our social media, or connect with us directly at inkthepodcast. That's at INC the podcast. Ink is a production of Wolf Mountain Workshop. Happiness is productivity. Productivity is happiness.